Welcome, beautiful souls. I'm Zoe, the singing farmer at EarthSongFarm, and I'm growing my life song in my back garden as I farm and sing. I'm here to inspire you to live your life the best way you want to live it, and to share with you some little farming experiences and little snippets of emotional intelligence work. So this week I am dealing with rats. Oh my goodness! We have had rats for a while, and I've been aware of them, and they've been generally staying down at the bottom end of the garden with Pippin and Ebony and the ducks down there. But also I've noticed there's a second nest up at the top with these chickens up at this end with Mr. Hoodoo, Sparkle and Little Yo. And also we've seen rats playing in the middle of the garden in the middle of the day. So this was the turning point for me. So what I wanted to share with you is that sometimes we put things off and we don't actually start to deal with the situation until we've hit a real pain point. Many of us avoid starting tasks because we don't see the urgency of it. And for me, this happens quite regularly. I put things off. I quite often do things when I feel it's going to be a fun, pleasurable activity, and I'll step into something through excitement and joy. But more often than not, it's an avoidance thing. I don't start anything until there's an absolute need. There's some pain point that prompts me into starting. So I'm going to try a new trick, which for me is going to be working on developing that pain within myself. So when I see that something gets to be done, if I can build up that emotion that's really creating that pain within me, then that is one way to promote myself to go and take action. I suppose the other option would be to do it in a more positive way and to say, "You look, this is going to be the positive at the other end of it." So both of them are things that I'm going to look at doing. And I'll feedback as to whether it's worked for me, and maybe it's something that you might want to try and see if you can come up with a way to avoid procrastination. Because as far as I can see, it seems to be when the pain point gets to the maximum you can deal with, that's when the action starts to happen. So it's bringing that decision point further forward before that terrible moment gets to happen. How do we actually step into that place and be urgent and create what we're seeking to create without delaying and delaying and delaying? So the decision has been reached that now we are going to deal with these rats, and rather than using poison, which is one option, and the other option was to look into live traps and set them free, I have decided to go along the lines of quick kill traps, just spring-loaded, instantaneous zaps. Now, I decided on this because we have a cat that likes to eat rats in our garden. She sometimes leaves some remains in the back in the conservatory, and we're concerned that if we poison the rats, that she would get poisoned herself. So we don't want that to happen. And the other option was to look at live traps, where we trap the rats and they are still alive in the trap, and to set them free. And I do have a place that we could go and set them free, but then the rats are going to a place where they would then just spread somewhere else. They might die of exposure. Then I'm just moving the problem to somebody else. So the decision has been made to go for these instantaneous, super strength, spring-loaded traps. And that's what I'm setting around the garden today. I will have to clean them out, check them daily to make sure that the rats are being disposed of, and this is my attempt at resolving the rat problem. So I will keep you informed as to how it goes, and yeah, it's a situation that I didn't want to have to deal with, but I can see that if I don't do something now, we're going to be really overrun by rats by the spring. Also, what I've noticed is that some of our produce is being eaten. So the courgettes down here, they've got nibble marks on them there. This one's been munched away completely underneath. And some of the pears, the windfalls fall down overnight, and within, you know, just within that one day, the windfalls have been nibbled. So I've had some beautiful giant pears that have fallen down in the garden, and sadly they have been eaten straight away by the rats. So I'm losing my produce as well, and this is a problem that farmers have. You know, wherever you've got chicken feed, you're going to have rats. And you know, down here, if I take you down again, I can see where they've been running. You can see just here, there's a hole just down there, under there, and you can see where the ground is worn, so it's obvious where the rats are running. And there's another big space here where they've dug out the soil. So yes, holes all over the place, and I get to put some traps out. Okie doke, off I go. So the box has arrived with the rat traps, and these are spring loaded rat traps. So I'm going to open the box and see what we've got. I've ordered large ones and small ones. The small ones are mouse traps, because I read in someone's review that they had very big rats, and the rat traps were fine for the big rats, but when they had the small rats, the baby rats, it wasn't catching the baby ones. So I've gone and ordered mouse traps as well, and we shall see what we've got here. Let's see, we've got some mouse. So these are the mouse traps, and they've got, oh yes, much smaller. So for little mini rats to go in there. This spring ones. So I've got a couple of those. So I have here the mouse trap, which has the 2 spring traps inside. I struggled for a while to get into it, but they sent one of these rods. I think this is for baiting the trap, but actually if you poke it in the holes, that seemed to open the trap, and I was able to get in. Don't know if it's a bit brutal. And then inside, these are spring-loaded traps. So it's going to be a bit gruesome, I think, for the poor rats, but I think we're going to be inundated if we don't do something soon. And this is the safer version for the cat, because the cat can't get into there. So I'm going to bait it with some peanut butter, and hopefully that will work. Put a blob of peanut butter in each of these little stations, and then I'm going to put the peanut butter in first, and then I'm going to pull the trap set. So I've got a little bit of peanut butter into the trap, and then I think there's a safety way of doing this. So you close it, this is my belief, you close it and then pull up on the cable ties to set it, which I'm struggling with. So I'm going to try again. Yep, that's pulled up, and pull up, that's pulled up. So those are now baited and ready to go. And then these big boxes are, hang on. Oh no, I think they've sent the wrong ones. Oh no, these don't look like the right ones. These look like the bait traps, which is not what I ordered. So I get to go back and have a look and check my order and see if I've ordered the right things. So I've also spotted more holes that I hadn't even realised were here. There's one down here by these chickens. Big hole down there. And they're coming up in the flower beds where I've planted all sorts of things. So killing off whatever's growing here. So there's another one here. So I've just laid one of the traps just here, down near this hole. There's another hole under there, and yeah, I get to find out why my order of the large traps didn't come, so I'm going to go chase that up. So I've gone and chased up the mistake with the order, and I did order correctly, and the people at the other end sent incorrectly. So I've just spoken to Joe at Fort Products, and they are going to send me the little traps that go inside in here, and they don't need me to send back the bait. So if there's anybody out there who's wanting some bait, just let me know, because I've got bags of it that I'm not wanting to use near my cat, and she doesn't need it back. So thank you, Fort Products. I also reached out to Agrigame down in Gloucestershire, and they supported me with how their traps and things worked. I haven't purchased from them, but they were also extremely helpful. So again, you know, people out there are willing to support you with whatever you're dealing with, and it's been nice to have some friendly companies to speak to get the support that I need with my problem. Okay, so hopefully in a couple of days I'll be able to set these up and reduce the number of rats running around the garden and nibbling all my things. And I wanted to show you Ebony. So let me take you down here to the pen. Pippin's out here. Pippin's a bit concerned because Pippin's all on his own. Pippin, come here. He's run off. He's run out into the garden. Well, he's all right. I just don't want him to get to this trap that's just in here. So yeah, so Pippin's all on his own. He keeps wondering where Ebony is, and Ebony is in here. What's she doing? Ebony, she's gone broody, which is very silly because it's not the right time to be going broody. So Ebony's decided to go broody, and she's sitting in the nest box. So next spring, potentially we could have a broody hen to hatch some eggs rather than using the incubator. So I don't know what my song would be for the day. I'll come up with a rat song maybe. I don't know. When there's nibbling in your garden and you don't know what to do, ask an expert for advice about the rats and the mice, and they'll soon send a solution for you, They'll soon send a solution for you. Oh dear. All right, have a lovely week, and don't put things off for too long. Step into that decision, avoid procrastination, grasp some urgency, and go and create what you're seeking to create in your lives. And I'll see you next week. Bye, my lovelies. When there's nibbling in your garden and you don't know what to do, ask an expert for advice about the rats and the mice, and they'll soon send a solution for you, They'll soon send a solution for you. Oh dear.